What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Leo's Nerd Talk, and today we're going to be talking about A Quiet Place. So let's get into that. Hi, my name is Leo, and if you guys like talking about anything movies, TV shows, video game related, or just anything nerdy, you have come to the right place. And like I said, today we're talking about A Quiet Place. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Now, with The Quiet Place Day 1 coming out here in about a week, I thought it would be a great idea to go back and revisit A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. Watch them, review them, and then do a whole ranking once A Quiet Place Day 1 comes out. Now, the original Quiet Place is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. This was just a great achievement by John Krasinski. You know, there was two people on polar opposites when this movie was originally coming out. There was people that absolutely loved the idea of Jim Halpert from The Office making a horror movie, and there was the other side where people were kind of doubting him. You know, is this guy from The Office really going to be a good enough director to make an amazing horror movie? And like I said, it's already one of my favorite horror movies of all time. So I'd love to give you my thoughts about why I think so. But before I give you my thoughts about this movie, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and let me know what you guys think about A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2 in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear all you guys' thoughts about this movie. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the pros. Now, for a directorial debut from John Krasinski, this is an amazing achievement. This movie, has so much going for it, where you have amazing characters, amazing world building, an amazing story, an amazing idea, amazing creatures. There's so much that's going for it, and I'll break everything down of why I love it so much. But this is just an amazing movie to be your first movie, and especially being a horror movie, which me being a horror fan, this one definitely hit a lot of the buttons that I typically look for within a horror movie. Now, this movie kicks off on day 89 after something has happened, right? We're not really told what this creature is right from the beginning. You get thrown into this world. Everybody's quiet for some reason. You don't know why they're quiet, but you want them to be quiet. Any little slight movements, it makes you tense. You know, toy rocket falling off the shelf. Like, you don't want them to make noise, but you don't know yet why that is. And this movie just kicks off with one of the most sad and incredible and tense opening sequences and opening scenes of all time, with the main character's little boy, their son, and what happens to him tragically. That's just one of the most emotional and most chilling, most tense opening scenes ever to kick off this movie. And then right after that opening title card, we get thrown in a few hundred days later, or about 100+ days or so later after the events of that. And we find out that Emily Blunt's character is pregnant, which, holy shit, you see that and you're like, God damn, how do you bring a baby into this world? How do you start contemplating, how do you keep the baby quiet? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna feed it? Where are you gonna get the formula from? Like, there's so many things that start going through your head, and just by showing Emily Blunt pregnant. John Krasinski didn't have to do much. Just show her pregnant, and your mind starts wandering about all these different scenarios that can happen within this universe, right? And then, you start seeing all these different characters and how they're living on their day-to-day basis, how they're trying to be very quiet, and, they have like board games, but the pieces are made out of felt and stuff. So like, everything is just so, integral, and so much attention to detail that this movie right off the gate puts you in this space that you're in. And it's a pretty claustrophobic space because, you do get like glimpses that there's other survivors out in the world, but we don't get any much further than this little farm that they live in. And so you're so kind of enclosed within this family, and you get put into the situation. So you feel every moment, every little noise, you feel it, and it just, amps that intensity, which makes this for an amazing atmosphere of a movie. And of course, for this movie being a quiet movie, it's called A Quiet Place for a reason. The sound design is amazing. That's kind of one thing that really stands out for this movie, that it's quiet 90% of the time, And when you get those moments of loud noises, it hits hard. Just as something as simple as a lamp getting knocked over is so loud that it makes you kind of like jolt, like, oh shit, So like, just the sound design of this movie is so impeccable. It's so much attention to the sound design that I absolutely loved. And even the score mixed in with the sound design. The score is very subtle, but very, very effective. Ousting performances across the board are amazing. You know, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, of course, are both world-class actors, but then you have even the children actors that, you know, provoke or evoke so much emotion just by their facial expressions. You know, even like the young boy, like he's the most scared out of the entire group, and any little sound, like you see in his face, like the intensity, how scared he is of this situation. Or even you know, the daughter who is deaf, you know, she is obviously a very good at sign language. She's actually deaf in real life and taught everybody sign language for this movie, which is awesome as well. But just her, similar thing to her, just the way she emotes her emotions is beautiful. And then Emily Blunt, I had to give it for Emily Blunt. I don't think she got any nominations for this, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a shame and a disservice that she did not, because just that bathroom sequence alone, right before she gives birth, is one of the most intense moments ever in film history. It is beautifully acted. The emotions that she puts into her face, like you see how, you know, scared and how much pain she is in those moments. That is just world-class performance. I absolutely love that moment. That moment gives me chills every single time. And this movie is only an hour and a half, so it doesn't overstay its welcome at all. It is so fast paced. Like when you're barely starting to learn about this family and you get enough where you care about them, things just pop off. One after another, after another, after another, right? So you get Emily Blunt, that her water breaks. You have the old man in the forest, and then they get back to the home and they see the red lights. So the red lights are like the warning. They know something is wrong. You get the fireworks coming, and then the parents and the kids get separated. They get thrown into the cornfields and they're trying to survive on their own while John Krasinski is trying to find them. And then you have one of the most emotional moments ever with John Krasinski and his daughter in this film. One of the most beautiful and intense and craziest moments ever that gets me every single time. I absolutely love that part of the film. It's right towards the end, and so you just get these beats by beat by beat that just all just intertwined so perfectly, where it just feels like the gas pedal is never let off. And that all is because of the vision of John Krasinski and his production team and his editing and his cinematography. This movie is beautifully directed. It's beautifully shot. Like the cinematography is amazing. The direction, the pacing, everything is done so nicely in this film that you can enjoy it. This is such an easy watch. It's an amazing watch. You can throw it on. You're in and out in an amazing movie. This is why I love A Quiet Place. But with that being said, with every movie, there are slight cons to this film. And there's nothing major here, really. Like, there's just certain things, like this movie has so much attention to detail, but there's certain things that get missed. And I'm not sure if it's deliberately missed in this way, but it feels odd. For everything that this family does to try to survive, there's certain things that just feel weird and odd, that why would they still do this? Like, this is very nitpicky type things. But for example, they make everything so that it's quiet. You know, like I said, they have board games with felt pieces. They put sand through all these paths so that it's a lot softer and you don't hear crunching of like grass and leaves. They mark certain panels on their floor so they know which panels don't creak. They remove all the doors so that you don't have to hear the doors opening and closing. So they do all of these things, but yet they still hang up picture frames. And not just one or two. There's like 15 picture frames that are loosely hung up on a single wall, you know? So like, it's things like that where you're like, out of everything you did to survive, like that picture frame's gonna fuck you up. You're gonna knock it over one day. And so it's like those things that there's so much attention to detail that the small, minute things that doesn't seem like they matter stick out like a sore thumb. And that's really the only complaint I have about this movie, is that there's just these small, little, integral things that stick out because how much attention to detail everything else is. So there's flaws because this movie is so good, that it's done so great, so flaws stick out further. So then, like I said, these are just nitpicking things. I think this movie is is a 4.5 out of 5, 5.5 out of 5, damn near almost a perfect directorial debut from John Krasinski himself. But I absolutely love this movie. Like I said, this is one of my favorite movies of all time, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts about this movie in the comment section down below. Make sure to share all your thoughts with me. I'd love to see what you guys think about this movie. And again, if you guys like talking about movies, TV shows, or video game related, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next review. Thank you.